Krishna, delivered in California on April 1900, Part 1. Almost the same circumstances which gave birth to Buddhism in India surrounded the rise of Krishna. Not only this, the events of that day we find happening in our own times. There is a certain ideal. At the same time, there must always be a large majority of the human race who cannot come up to the ideal, not even intellectually. The strong ones carry it out and many times have no sympathy for the weak. The weak to the strong are only beggars. The strong ones march ahead. Of course, we see at once that the highest position to take is to be sympathetic and helpful to those who are weak. But then, in many cases, the philosopher bars the way to our being sympathetic. If we go by the theory that the whole of this infinite life has to be determined by the few years' existence here and now, then it is very hopeless for us, and we have no time to look back upon those who are weak. But if these are not the conditions, if the world is only one of the many schools through which we have to pass, if the eternal life is to be molded and fashioned and guided by the eternal law, and eternal law, eternal changes wait of everyone, then we need not be in a hurry. We have time to sympathize, to look around, stretch out a helping hand to the weak, and bring them up. With Buddhism, we have two words in Sanskrit. One is translated religion, and the other a sect. It is the most curious fact that the disciples and descendants of Krishna have no name for their religion, although foreigners call it Hinduism or Brahmanism. There is one religion and there are many sects. The moment we give it a name, individualize it, and separate it from the rest, it is a section, no more a religion. A section proclaims its own truth and declares that there is no truth anywhere else. Religion believes that there has been and still is one religion in the world. There never were two religions. It is the same religion presenting different aspects in different places. The task is to conceive the proper understanding of the goal and scope of humanity. This was the great work of Krishna, to clear our eyes and make us look in with broader vision upon humanity in its march upwards and onwards. His was the first heart that was large enough to see the truth in all. His the first lips that uttered beautiful words for each and all. This Krishna preceded Buddha by some 1,000 years. A great many people do not believe that he ever existed. Some believe that the worship of Krishna grew out of it, the old sun worship. There seem to be several Krishnas. One was mentioned in the Upanishads, another was king, another a general. All have been lumped into one Krishna. It does not matter much. The fact is that some individuals comes who is unique in spirituality. Then all sorts of legends are invented around him. But all the Bibles and stories which come to be cast upon this one person have to be recast in the mold of his character. All the stories of the New Testament have to be modeled upon the accepted life and character of Christ. In all of the Indian stories about Buddha, the one central note of that whole life is kept up sacrifice for others. In Krishna, we find two ideas stand supreme in his message. The first is the harmony of different ideas, and the second is non-attachment. A man can attain to perfection, the highest goal sitting on a throne, commanding armies, working out big plans for nations. In fact, Krishna's great sermon was preached on the battlefield. Krishna saw plainly through the vanity of all the mummeries, mockeries, and ceremonials of the old priests, and yet he saw some good in them. If you are a strong man, very good, but do not curse others who are not strong enough for you. Everyone says, "Woe unto you people." Who says, "Woe unto me that I cannot help you"? The people are doing all right to be the best of their ability and means and knowledge. Woe unto me that I cannot lift them to where I am. So the ceremonials, worship of gods, and myths are all right. Krishna says, why? Because they all lead to the same goal. Ceremonies, books, and forms, all these are links in the chain. Get hold. That is the one thing. If you are sincere and have really gotten hold of one link, do not let go. The rest is bound to come. But people do not get hold. They spend the time quarreling and determining what they should get hold of and do not get hold of anything. We are always after truth, but never want to get it. We simply want the pleasure to go about and ask. We have a lot of energy and spend it that way. That is why Krishna says, get hold of any one of these chains that are stretched out from the common center. No one step is greater than another. Blame no view of religion so far as it is sincere. Hold on to one of the links and it will pull you to the center. Your heart itself will teach all the rest. The teacher within will teach all the creeds, all the philosophies.